Okay, picture this. You're just casually scrolling through your feed, and out of nowhere, you're buying a product you didn't even know existed 5 minutes ago. We've all done it, right? Well, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the invisible, highly lucrative machinery operating right behind your daily social media feeds. We all use these platforms, and we all follow creators we genuinely admire. But the mechanics of how our attention is captured, monetized, and, let's be honest, sometimes manipulated, it's an intricate, exact science. We are going to break down the highly specific technologies, the psychological triggers, and the ethical loopholes that are powering today's digital creator economy. Let's dive in.
First off, look at the sheer scale of what we are dealing with here. By 2025, the global influencer marketing industry is projected to hit a staggering $33 billion. That is with a B. This is no longer just some side hustle economy or a niche marketing tactic for a few edgy brands. It is a dominant, driving force in the digital market that has completely transformed how businesses reach us. We have moved way past the era of traditional celebrity endorsements on TV and billboards. We are now in a space where everyday content creators hold immense, truly unprecedented commercial power.
Think about how we shop today. It is perfectly seamless, frictionless. Honestly, it's incredibly fast. You're scrolling, a reel stops you, you see a jacket, you tap, and boom, you buy it. The gap between discovering a product and actually owning it has practically vanished. You don't have to hunt for a link in a crowded bio anymore or take a screenshot to obsessively search for it on Google later. These platforms have relentlessly optimized their infrastructure so that the exact second you feel a spark of desire for that jacket or a new serum, you can finish the checkout without ever leaving the app.
But here's the catch. Beneath that shiny, ultra-convenient surface lies a deeply complex web of psychological manipulation. When literally every single piece of content you interact with is a potential point of sale, the lines between an authentic recommendation from someone you trust and a covert advertisement blur entirely. In a world where every single scroll is optimized for commerce, we have to ask a critical question. Who is actually protecting the most vulnerable users out there? Because as we're about to see, the regulatory frameworks meant to oversee this multi-billion-dollar industry are seriously struggling to keep pace with the tech.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the social commerce machine.
So, when we put the two giants of digital influence head-to-head, we're really looking at two very different battlefields. TikTok, with its 1.9 billion users, is the undisputed king of algorithmic discovery. Its superpower is taking a video from someone with absolutely zero followers and rocketing it to millions overnight. It gets a much higher overall engagement rate, but that engagement is often pretty broad and passive. Instagram, on the flip side, has a massive 3 billion users, and they've engineered a completely different ecosystem. While their raw engagement percentage might look lower on paper, Instagram has absolutely perfected the art of converting relationships into sales. Thanks to mature tools like advanced direct message automation, engagement there is heavily intent-driven, which translates directly into high-conversion sales.
To really wrap your head around how powerful this conversion engine is, just look at Instagram's shoppable Reels. Creators can now embed up to 30 individual product links directly inside a single video. 30! That is wild. This completely seals up the leaky marketing funnel. You go straight from watching a creator use a product in a super dynamic, engaging video directly to the checkout page with just a tap. And because the platform securely stores your payment and shipping info in the background, the friction of buying is entirely removed. It's almost too easy.
Moving right along to Section 2, the psychology of influence.
So the psychological engine making all this possible runs on something called parasocial relationships. Let's break that down. This happens when an influencer speaks directly to the camera, maybe sharing their personal struggles, their morning routine, or replying to comments. It creates a very real, deeply felt sense of friendship and intimacy for you, the viewer, even though the relationship is entirely one-sided. And this concept is so vital to understand because when you feel like you're genuine friends with an influencer, your critical scrutiny naturally drops. You just don't view your friend's enthusiastic recommendation with the same skepticism you'd use for a traditional TV commercial.
This psychological state is quite literally weaponized for sales. Here's exactly how this plays out for us every single day. It starts innocently enough, right? You watch some highly relatable, authentic-feeling content. Over time, you keep watching and you form that one-sided emotional bond. You really feel like you know them. Then, right when your trust is at its absolute peak, a subtle, seamlessly integrated product endorsement is dropped into the video. And because the app's technology removes all the friction we talked about, you make a quick, uncritical purchase. It's a masterfully effective loop.
Which brings us to Section 3, the hidden cost on youth.
Engagement-driven algorithms really just want one thing, your attention, at all costs. But for young, impressionable users, this creates a pretty dangerous reality. They end up trapped in these echo chambers of influence that repeatedly expose them to incredibly narrow representations of beauty and lifestyle norms. They aren't just seeing one isolated ad for a product, they are being entirely surrounded by a manufactured reality. It becomes this continuous algorithmic loop dictating exactly what they should buy, how they should act, and what they need to look like just to be accepted. And the real-world fallout from these echo chambers? It is severe. Researchers are actively documenting elevated appearance anxiety and deep body dissatisfaction among youth. We're seeing the constant normalization of junk food and the endorsement of highly questionable, totally unregulated detox supplements. There's even rampant exposure to adult-oriented gambling apps and these debt-fueled buy now, pay later schemes, which are being pushed onto audiences that are entirely unprepared to evaluate the financial risks. We're even witnessing the commodification of childhood itself, with kidfluencers working long hours without basic labor protections. Time and time again, commercial interests are overriding psychological safety.
And honestly, there is a glaring, almost absurd contradiction right at the heart of this industry. On one hand, these platforms are deploying highly sophisticated billion-dollar ad tech. They've got AI targeting, predicting your next purchase, automated DMs, seamless checkouts. They can literally track your scroll speed down to the millisecond. But on the other hand, their age-gating mechanisms? Shockingly rudimentary. To protect a minor from adult content or predatory marketing, they rely on a simple drop-down menu where anyone can just fake their birthday. The technology clearly exists to map our digital DNA, but apparently verifying someone's age is just too complex? Yeah, right.
Let's look at the fallout in Section 4, Scandals and Stealth Advertising. At the core of almost every major influencer scandal is this little tactic called stealth advertising. This is when a paid promotion is subtly embedded within a creator's personal content without any clear disclosure, like dropping a hashtag ad. Fundamentally, it relies on deception. The creator desperately wants to preserve that precious parasocial trust we discussed, so they deliberately hide the fact that a massive brand is paying them to push the product. It intentionally blurs the line between a genuine life update and a cold, hard commercial transaction. And when this deception is inevitably exposed, man, the dominoes fall incredibly fast. Just look at the last few years. We've seen massive, seemingly invincible empires crumble overnight. You've got the 2020 YouTube backdoor advertising scandal that absolutely rocked South Korea and forced immediate regulatory changes. Then the fitness industry was shaken by the Liver King in 2022. And right up to 2024, with Italy's most prominent fashion influencer facing devastating legal action. It goes to show, the higher the trust, the harder the fall. Take the Liver King, for example. He built this massive, immensely lucrative brand by promoting an ancestral, totally natural, raw meat-eating lifestyle to an audience of young men looking for health advice. The sheer audacity of the lie was just breathtaking. His entire empire shattered when leaked emails revealed he was secretly spending $11,000 every single month on a massive regimen of steroids and human growth hormones to get that physique. It resulted in a $25 million lawsuit and permanently destroyed his credibility. It's a really stark warning about the dangers of health misinformation running wild in unregulated spaces. Or look at the sheer financial impact. A €1 million fine. That was the unprecedented antitrust penalties slapped on Italian mega-influencer Cura Frogni for charity fraud. She actively misled consumers about a branded Christmas cake, basically making them think that the proceeds from their purchases were going to benefit a local children's hospital. The public outrage from this stealth marketing deception was so intense, it literally forced the Italian government to write entirely new legislation, which people now call the Frogni Law, just to mandate strict, unmistakable disclosures for all digital promotions. All right, finally, let's talk solutions in Section 5, Fixing the Digital Wild West.
Look, self-regulation, it's just not cutting it anymore. If we actually want to fix this ecosystem, platforms, brands, and regulators have to get together and adopt a strict framework. First up, absolute transparency. No more burying disclosures in the middle of a huge paragraph. Those tags need to be visible immediately. Second, real audience protection. We need strict age verification, not just an honor system you can bypass in 2 seconds. Third, informed consent to safeguard youth data privacy. And finally, platform accountability. These platforms need to use their billion-dollar AI not just to sell us stuff, but to actively scan for and flag undisclosed sponsorships.
The technology that makes it easier and faster for us to buy is only going to get more sophisticated and honestly, more invisible.
Safeguarding our digital spaces, especially for developing minds, is going to require a real collective commitment from educators, parents, regulators, and, yes, the tech companies themselves. So, I want to leave you with this. Are we actively teaching digital literacy, or are we simply allowing optimization algorithms to mold the next generation into unquestioning, frictionless consumers? Thank you for joining me on this explainer, and remember, keep questioning what you scroll past.
Okay, picture